All right, welcome to another episode of Brandy Was Here, the podcast. I am so excited for my guest today. For one, I have been chasing him down for like a year or two, maybe, trying to get him on the podcast. And he finally said yes. We finally booked a date, and it is finally happening. Ali, can you go ahead and introduce yourself to my audience?
Yeah, absolutely. It is good to have finally been chased down. My name is Ali J. Taylor. I am the CEO and founder of Wisdom+Wayfinder, which is a business consulting fractional COO firm. And basically, what I do is I work with different companies and businesses to help them improve their operations, their excellence and efficiency, because they're trying to get to the next level and they know that there's a next level to unlock. And sometimes they
Mm,
just don't have the right systems and processes to get there. So
I love what you said. You said they know there's a next level to unlock. That's so important. We're gonna come back to that. Um,
nice.
Wonderful. Well, this is the part that I did not share with you, but I have a lightning round to start the podcast. Um,
Oh man. All right.
yes, to start, just to, get those jitters out and also to help my audience get to know you a little better. There are only
Yeah.
9 questions, so it's not that bad.
Okay.
But don't overthink it. Just whatever comes to mind, whatever you feel comfortable sharing, and we'll go from there. Are you ready?
Okay. I'm ready.
Okay, so my first question is what is one misconception people have about you?
Ooh. Man, well, there are a lot. So let
Mm,
me but let me start with one of them. Um, so what I don't do is I don't do coaching.
mm.
Well, first of all, are you talking about me or the business?
I'm talking about you.
Okay, so me personally. Um, I don't look like what I've been through.
Mm,
Um, yeah.
that's a good
A lot
one.
yeah, a lot of people, I'm 44 years old. A lot of people think I'm in my early 30s.
Mm,
One, because I just have a great moisturizing routine. Um, and if it wasn't for the gray hairs in my beard, you probably wouldn't be able to tell. But yeah, I've been through a lot, through the death of two parents and,
mm,
caretaking one of them before she passed. Been through a lot of changes. I've been working for myself for close to 15, 20 years.
mm.
Um, so there's a lot that I've been through, and I still manage to maintain this sense of optimism and hope and warmth and kindness. And I think sometimes people that belies, sort of the things that I've been through, and um, it can come across as naive when really it's just, I choose to hold on to a certain level of optimism and hope.
Yeah, that is so true because I would have not known that about you. That was good. Okay, we're starting off hot. Number 2, a hill that you're willing to die on.
A hill that I'm willing to die on.
Mm.
Can I change it to a hill that I'm willing to kill on or no?
Yeah. I like that even better.
Yeah, I was just talking about this with a
Mm,
with a friend the other day. We always have these hills that we're like willing to die on. It's like, well, what are the hills that you're willing to kill on?
mm,
Um, and I think that just goes back to, for me, it's the curiosity.
mm,
I said this in another interview that my favorite trait in another human being is curiosity,
mm,
and that could be curiosity in terms of yourself, other people, how the world works. And I think that we're lacking so much of that. We
hmm,
have access to all of this technology and, vast amounts of knowledge and information that's on the internet, but we are sorely lacking in curiosity to really ask those questions of, well, why is it like that?
hmm,
A lot of people just accept the first thing that comes to them and they go no further than that.
I
And so
love that.
if I could kill on that hill, I would.
Yeah, yeah, we're killing on the hill. We're not dying. I love that. Okay. Number 3, a book you think everyone should read.
Oh, let's see to have here.
Oh, I love seeing a stack of books. Yes.
Yeah. Hmm. Honestly, if one of my favorites is Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning.
Mm,
I quoted it in my TEDx talk, but I think if more men read books like The Masculine in Relationship,
hmm,
things that have to do with like masculine leadership, how you show up, that would be one that I would recommend.
okay. Your go-to
Yeah.
comfort food?
Lately, it's been Taco Bell.
Wow.
Hi, if my nutritionist sees this, don't judge me.
I was gonna say before you answered that you do like to cook, so I was excited to hear this answer, and then you said Taco Bell. Let's move on. Um, number
I mean,
5.
I still enjoy cooking. It's just that I am an ingredient household, so I buy
Mm,
all the ingredients, and then
yep,
the person I am at the end of the night, especially after a night of dancing or
yep, you're
whatnot,
like, "There's
is not the
nothing to
same
eat
person who
here."
bought those ingredients. Yeah, exactly.
I love it. Okay, number 5. One album if you had just one album to listen to on a long road trip, what would it be?
Incubus, Morning View.
I have not heard Incubus in years. Thank you for bringing that up. I need to add some stuff to my
Yeah.
playlist. Number 6, best advice you've ever been given.
Ooh. Best advice I've ever been given. Um, yes, it's treat yourself like you're someone you love.
Hmm, good
Yeah.
advice. Good advice. Okay.
Yeah.
The last person you blocked and why? We have boundaries over here.
Oh man. I actually blocked a few people, but the last person I blocked was someone I had a long-term friendship, professional relationship, bunch of different, blurred lines and whatnot. And that relationship ended. I walked away at the end of November 2023. I just finally decided I'd had enough of
Hmm,
just the way that I had been treated and just the lack of respect and consideration. And so I walked away from them, unfriended her and the whole friend group,
hmm.
and
The whole
she
group.
happened to send me the whole group. There was a whole group. Yeah, yeah, there was a whole group, and she actually sent me a friend request on Facebook beginning of March of this year. Um, and part of the reason that I stopped interacting or even responding to this person was just the lack of accountability, the lack of just wanting to apologize. And so I just really saw that Facebook friend request is like, listen, time past is not an apology.
Mm,
An apology is an
period.
apology, and it comes with accountability and communication and ownership of, you know, I'm not saying that, people have the right to do whatever they want to do and make the choices that they want to make. But if you're not going to own the impact of it, then there's no need for us to
Hmm.
reconnect. And reconnecting via Facebook, sending me a friend request, like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, we're adults here. Let's, you know.
Try to slide back in there. No, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you.
No,
We're
thank you.
good.
Oh, I love
Like, I
that.
just unfriended you before, but now you're blocked.
I will say to my audience, Ali has one-upped me. I have never blocked an entire group at the same time, so there's
Yeah.
hope for me yet.
Listen, I hope you never find yourself in a position where you have to block an entire group
Everybody
of
has to
people.
go.
It's
Okay.
yeah, like yeah.
All right. Next questions.
I don't know that there's anything yet because I
Mm,
pretty much try to find the opportunity to say it. Whether it's received or heard or understood is different, but um, I have learned not to let those things sit within me
mm.
because of how it impacts me and how it's affected me.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, this last question is a bit long, so listen
Okay.
carefully. If you had your life to start completely over from scratch, but you could
Okay.
take one thing with you into your new life, either tangible or intangible, what would it be and why?
Mm. You know what? It being black.
Mm.
And here's the reason why. Because there's just a certain, the Bible also often talks about this thing like the oil, right? The oil that gets
Mhm.
produced in a person through the circumstances and the things that they grow through, that they deal with. And as much heartbreak and frustration and hurt and harm that I've experienced as a result of being black,
Hmm.
what has come out of that, um, the unique way that I get to see the world, I get to experience the world the way that it is, um, I think made me a more empathetic and understanding human being, a more creative individual. Like what is able to flow out of me. Um, that is something that I would not want to
Hmm.
have, or not have in any lifetime that I live.
Mm. Mm. That is so good. That was a great
Yeah.
lightning round. I think yeah, that was good. That was real good. I'm gonna come back to a couple of things, but I want to get into something that you said at the beginning is that you don't look like what
Yeah.
you've been through. And then you kind of shared a
Mhm.
little bit about things that you have experienced in your life. What got you to a point where you decided or you were forced maybe to accept that or well, to decide that you wouldn't let those things hinder you from living your best life.
Yeah, I mean, I've done like a number of personal professional development programs.
Hmm.
I am, I in my teens, I got involved with the church, really developed that relationship with God or whatnot. And even though I don't have that same relationship to the church or involvement in the church for years now,
Mhm.
I still have that level of faith and spirituality. I'm just a lot more quiet and internal about it,
Mhm.
just because life has humbled me in so many different ways. And being an entrepreneur, working for myself for uh God knows how many long the last time I worked for somebody else was when I was 33. Like I said, I'm
Mhm.
44 now. Um so when you go through all those different levels, or as I've gone through all those different levels of, you know, people not believing in me, and then, having to go
Mhm.
out every day and have those conversations, and you keep learning, you keep getting kicked in the teeth, and then, life happens. My father passed away when I was 35. He was only
Mhm.
61 at the time.
Mhm.
Um, and then about a year later, my mom was diagnosed with end stage renal failure. She went through a number of
Mhm.
different things, lost both of her legs and had to
Mhm.
go to dialysis 3 days a week, and then my sisters and I, being her, full time caretakers, having to navigate all of those different things.
Yeah.
So running it, uh, being self employed, being an entrepreneur, being a caretaker, and then I was also coaching in some of those personal professional development
Mhm.
programs. Like there's just like a level of, you got to get up and get it done, because there are all these different things that are depending on you, and you can't give up. You can't wallow in the self pity
Mhm.
and the unfairness of life for too long.
Yeah.
Um, and eventually you get to a point where it's like, okay, I've been knocked down and knocked down, I've been bruised, I've
Mhm.
been beaten, I've been bloodied, I've been kicked in the teeth. You sort of develop a taste for it almost.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you think people can get to that point quicker? Because some people listening right now, I will tell you, you know, they tried something, one person said they didn't like it,
Mhm.
and they went into a spiral of never trying anything ever again, or they had one bad day
Yeah.
and now they've given up on their business, they went on one
Mhm.
date that didn't work out and now they're never dating again. It's like they encounter struggles and then it takes them longer, right? So how do people
Yeah.
arrive at that quicker to say, "You know what? Pity party's over. Let's get back to work."
Mhm. Yeah, it's twofold. One, you have to decide who you are, who you're
Mm,
going to be. Um, it's like James Baldwin says, you have to decide who you are and then force the world to deal with who you are, not who it tells you that you are.
mhm.
And so, really it's sitting down, looking yourself in the mirror. Like, people can talk I don't know if I can cuss on
You
here, but
can.
all right. So people can talk shit to me, whatever they want to say to me all day long. People do it online, people do it, behind my back, all it whatever. Nothing that anybody has ever said to me is different from what I haven't said, 6 inches from my own face
Mm,
in the mirror, right? Whether that's good, bad, negative, right? And I've gotten through all of it. So it's like you can't tell me who I am,
hmm.
right? I'll tell you who I am,
Yeah.
and I'll show you what I'm willing to accept or tolerate, right? By whether you're still in my life or not. But you have to decide who you're going to be in the face of all of those circumstances. So
Mm,
that's the first part. Decide who you're going to be in the face of whatever it is that you're coming up against. And then when those things come, you can't complain because it's like,
mm.
if you ask for, you can't complain. What's that saying? You can't complain about how much food there is on your plate when your goal
Right.
was to eat.
Right.
It's the same thing. You
Yeah.
just got to stop and remember who you are. And if you can't do that, make sure you surround yourself with people who know who you are and who can remind you and reflect that back to you when you need it.
Mm, mm. Very good. I like the part that you said about knowing who you are. So
Yeah.
many people are so heavily influenced by what people around them say or what people around them think. And
Yeah.
there's this fear that I'm not living up to who they expect me to be. So I won't really live into the life that I want or be the person that I want. That's a very dangerous thing. It's very dangerous and unfortunate to not be yourself. One of the things that you wrote in your responses to my wonderful
Hmm.
questionnaire was that you are in a season of being fully self-expressed. What does that
Yes.
mean?
That means exactly what it is. I have, uh, um, and when I say self-express, I don't mean like just saying whatever,
Mhm,
first thought that I have in mind. I mean self-express in the sense of who am I and what is it that I want to put out into the world. And
mhm,
so, and looking for opportunities to uh, be and feel alive, right? So, anybody who goes to my Instagram, you'll probably see me dancing, right? A
mm,
lot of my content has been dancing lately. That is one of the ways that I get to express myself. And that's been huge for me as someone who, grew up in chaos, grew up in, being a people pleaser, sort of hidden in the background, shying away. Now I'm out here dancing, getting into my
mhm,
body, something I wasn't always comfortable with, going out, speaking on stages, appearing on this podcast,
mm,
using my voice, writing on my Substack, getting back into, you can see the guitars that are back there,
mhm,
right? Getting back into playing music and just, drawing and creating art. So it's really about, as opposed to consuming and trying to figure out like what does everybody else want, who do I need to be, how do I need to mold myself to be accepted by other people, and getting back to what's the thing that needs to be expressed and wants to come out at any given time and not putting limits on it, not trying to put it into a box or monetize every single passion that I have.
hmm. There's a topic there. Um,
Yeah.
one thought that I had while you were saying that, do you think that you have that level of freedom because you are an entrepreneur? I think that when I talk to people who have a 9 to 5, even like, I
Hmm.
support people in building their personal brand, and the thing that comes
Yeah.
up always is, well, what I don't feel comfortable posting online because what if someone I work with sees it, or, what will my boss think if I'm online posting about, my side business or my
Hmm.
aspirations for leadership. And so as you were saying, like, you've been an entrepreneur for more than a decade, right? Do you think that
Mhm.
level of self-expression comes from the freedom you have and that you are your own boss and you get to control, how you make a living?
Yeah, I definitely think that that contributes to it. Or rather in a sense that like I've just had more practice at it.
Mm,
Yeah, I've had more opportunities to practice that kind of freedom, right?
yeah.
If I was married, if I had kids and I was worried about losing my job or something like that, yeah, I would definitely have that as a
Mm,
consideration. But again, going back to all the times that I have lost and I have been at rock bottom and then I have built myself back up and I have found
mm,
myself in rooms, in conversations with people that have started at second and third base and have built these incredible
mm,
businesses and being able to
yeah.
have those conversations on that same level. It's like, okay, great. Like, yeah, I am gonna say what I want or have the expression, the level of expression that I desire because I know I can come back from anything.
Mm. Knowing you can come back from everything. I think that goes back to what you said about practice, right?
Yeah.
You have to put yourself in situations where you can really test the muscle that you're trying to build, right? If you
Yeah.
don't, then you never know how strong you are. You never know that you can overcome things because you just never try. So putting yourself in those seemingly uncomfortable situations until you grow to a
Hmm.
level where you are comfortable. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that's really good. I love that, everything I'm hearing you say, I actually see you live out and display. You talked about your dancing, you talked about how you
Hmm.
speak freely, and all of that comes across in your brand online. Um, as an entrepreneur, you work with, I think, the most difficult population of people, which are CEOs. And I
Yeah.
say difficult because every CEO believes that the way that they
Hmm.
do things is correct. They are the boss, they make the decisions, they know right from
Hmm.
wrong, and you have been online telling people, "Actually, you're missing this thing." How do you
Yeah.
help CEOs and kinda meet them where they are?
Yeah, but one of the things that I don't do is I don't go in trying to challenge them,
Mm,
right? I go in trying to really highlight their brilliance, right? It
mm,
takes a lot to start a business. I don't care what anyone says, right? Like what it takes to get up and decide that okay, I have an idea and I have these people that I want to serve, this problem that I want to solve, and I'm going to build a business around it. And I'm going to, create something that employs other people. Like what it takes to bring that from an idea to fruition to, people are building their lives and local economies around, like that takes a lot. And
mm,
so I never want to fly in the face of that or challenge or dismiss the level of tenacity or intelligence or genius that it takes to create something
mm,
from nothing. What I often do is I remind people it's like, hey, you're brilliant at what you do, but like I said at the beginning, you know that there's another level. And all that you're missing is the systems, the tools, the processes, or the right relationships to get you there. And I make it my job and my responsibility to do that. Where sometimes I will challenge them is and challenge them in a sense of just asking them questions that they may not have had time to think of
mm,
before. And that's often what it comes down to is like, yeah, everything. Like I was just thinking about somebody I had a conversation with that I ultimately decided I didn't want to work with.
mm,
But they were saying that, yeah, everything you're saying is all in my head. And easily I could just say, but you haven't executed on it yet.
right.
Right. It's the execution. It's why you haven't
Mhm,
taken action. And that's often the place that it's just a blind spot for people. It's like I can't see the back of my head. It
yeah,
doesn't mean that you're an idiot because you can't see the back of your head.
mhm.
You just can't see the back of your head. It's just a lack of perspective. And that's what I come in and I'm able to be for a lot of the people that I work with.
If you are listening to this podcast as a non-subscriber, you are missing out. If you head over to my Substack, brandywashere.substack.com, you can become a free or paid subscriber to continue to support the podcast. You'll get my daily musings, you'll get written articles on personal, professional development, as well as some of my own lived experience and stories. You'll get access to future workshops and opportunities to work with me. So if you haven't already, please go to brandywashere.substack.com and become a subscriber today. Don't forget to say hello when you do. Yeah. What were you doing before you were doing this, and how did you know that this would be
Mhm.
the thing that you would build your business around?
Yeah, so I owned a marketing agency before this. So I did logo designs, graphic design, web design, social media, digital
Mm,
marketing, copywriting, all of that. And where I got to finally was, I decided I'd had enough conversations with business owners where they were trying to solve business problems with marketing solutions. They
mm,
either wanted to redesign their website,
yep.
get a new logo, do some more email, do some more, let's do some TikToks and some, Instagram reels. And it's like, my brother in Christ, you need a CRM. You need to follow up with the people that have been calling you.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any sense for you to keep doing more activity to attract more attention when you're not even doing anything with the attention that you already have, right? Your salespeople aren't calling back the leads that your
Mm,
marketing department is delivering. You're taking a week or two if you're responding or returning those phone calls at all.
mm-hmm,
Your product and your service isn't you're marketing it to people who aren't ready to buy right now, as
mm-hmm,
opposed to creating something that kind of keeps them in the loop, and then creating another thing for those who are ready to buy right now. Like, you're not adjusting your messaging, you're not
mm,
adjusting your tone and like you're just doing all of the wrong things that looks like you're doing something
yeah.
because you see it on social media and your favorite guru who bought, a bunch of followers is telling you to do. Meanwhile, that person, their dad is the CEO of another company,
Mm,
so they don't have to really work that hard, or they have like a whole team behind them. And you're a single parent with two kids that have different practices on the opposite side of town. And somewhere in that, you got to figure out how to run your business or post something on social media.
mm.
Right?
I
That playbook doesn't work for you.
I felt triggered as you were talking. Yeah, on my threads, I sometimes share like little client snippets, and I shared that someone local to me reached out for marketing. And
Hmm.
I kind of looked at what they had and I gave them some ideas, but I also said to them, you really need to have some better systems in place, right? Because
Yeah.
you're doing some things, but also you're not tracking effectively. You're not doing this, you're not doing that. But on the
Hmm.
marketing front, here's what I think you should do. And they were so appreciative. Thank you so much. This is amazing. And within a week, they were on TikTok doing dances and trends. And I'm like, what were we in the same conversation? I look back like, did I record that call? Can I send this to them again?
Right.
Like, what are you doing? I think people,
Yeah.
CEOs especially, someone told me years ago that
Mhm.
sometimes people with the best business ideas are not the best people to run their business. Um,
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
because a lot of times you don't have those sort of operational skills to know like what your actual day to day needs to look like, right? That your whole job, no matter what business you have, I saw someone say online, like, oh, my whole job is social media. It should not be. It absolutely should not be. You should get offline to really
Mhm.
set up those systems. And then you start to bring people on into your business. You don't onboard them properly and no one knows what they're doing. So how do
Yeah.
you step into a system that or a non-existent system or something that's seemingly chaotic? How do you get CEOs clarity from that?
Yeah, I try to help them understand there's a difference. There's a separation of identity that needs to happen,
Mm,
right? There is the person who created the idea, came up with the idea for the business, and then there's the person responsible for making sure that the
mhm,
the execution and those things get done. oftentimes the CEO thinks that, well, they're the top person. Nobody else can do it as well
Mhm.
as they can. They're responsible for everything, so they have to do everything themselves. And they structure and build their businesses that way. They'll even hire employees, right, to take on certain tasks, but then if it's not done as quickly or
Mhm.
the way that they would do it, they step back in and they take back that project
Yeah.
or they change it after the fact. And eventually you just teach your employees like, well, what's the point of me even trying if you're just going to go take the work back and then
Right.
just do it yourself? And so I try to get them to understand that yes, you may have the best idea, but there's other ideas, other things that need to get done that
Mhm.
you're not able to focus on because you're busy down here doing this. Right.
Yeah.
You hired this person at, 30, $40 an hour. You should be focusing on the $200 an hour task
Mhm.
or greater, right? You should be focusing on the business development. Again, thinking back to that one person I was talking about, they hate doing outside sales, but
Mm.
you get them into get somebody into the building, that is where they're shine. And I'm like, okay, great. So hire an outside business development person to do the thing that you hate
Mhm.
doing. And then this way you can focus on what you love to do.
Yeah.
You're not like as the CEO, you're accountable for everything, but you're not responsible for everything.
Yeah.
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 You're accountable for making sure that it gets done, but you're not responsible for being the person doing it. If you hire smart people, you have to let those smart people do the thing that you hired them for because they may actually surprise you and come up with a better way than
Mm.
you even thought of.
Yeah. Yeah. Because my way was not getting results.
Or it was
Yeah.
getting you results, but it's like if like I said, if you want to get to that next level or if there's some other area of your life, like again, having gone through the experiences that I've gone through with my parents, right? It is life is gonna life and it's
Mhm.
not gonna ask you for permission. It's not gonna ask you if it's a convenient time in your business to show up.
Yeah.
It's just gonna show up. And then you gotta decide, okay, great. Do I have the systems? Do I have the capacity to handle life as it comes up so that my business doesn't suffer or, vice versa?
Yeah. It's so true. I think, a lot of people become entrepreneurs because they feel stuck, right? Being an
Mhm.
employer, being in a 9 to 5. And then when they start their business, they forget all of those good things that actually came with their role. Because I'll be
Yeah.
honest, when I first started working, when I got my first kind of real full-time job and they handed me,
Mhm.
you know, physical copy of that SOP handbook, I was like, this is stupid,
Mhm.
right? In my business now.
Yeah.
Do I refer to that often when I'm working with people I work with some absolutely, because we have a way of
Yeah.
doing things and you need to know that way, right? So if you're listening to this and you're thinking of becoming an entrepreneur, there's a reason why businesses have certain things. Like don't throw away the things that actually
Mhm.
make the business run and think, well, screw that. I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna do it my way. One of the things that I think is hard for people who are starting a business, right? I don't know.
Mhm.
Again, I'm referring back to online, but I had a conversation with someone about this offline. There was someone who posted a job on Threads, and it was like a really low paying job, and it had all of these qualifications. And they were a
Oh, I
small
saw
business
that.
owner, yeah. And
Yeah.
people were like attacking this person, saying, "How dare you? You should be paying more." And it was, I mean, a sizable income if you live like in I don't know South Dakota or something, you could live off of
Mhm.
30 or $35,000 a year. But I was thinking like, wow, what an amazing accomplishment as a small business owner to be able to hire someone, right? And a
Mhm.
lot of people don't because they feel like, well, I can't afford to hire help. And so what happens is you remain a solopreneur for
Yeah.
several years. You're working nonstop. You're doing all the things, not necessarily to a high quality because you're doing everything. How do you
Yeah.
help people feel comfortable delegating and also really helping them understand the value of paying for support?
Yeah, well, I go back to painting a picture of the future. Like, what is it
Mm,
that you really want to be doing, right? nobody wants to be working every weekend and not be able to enjoy dinner with their family or
Yeah.
not be able to take a vacation or, just do the things they love, right? There's this sense that, like, yeah, there's going to be the imbalance at first, but if you find yourself in a position where you're able to afford or hire an employee, um, you've really got to think of like, okay, what's the thing that I want to really be doing? Right. So I try to pull them towards a future that they want, as opposed to trying to push them away from,
Hmm.
a negative or disaster. Right. Something that they feel called to. So,
Yeah.
like one of my clients that I worked with recently, she had 3 employees, but she was still working, 70 hours a week, 7 days a week. We kinda talked about like, okay, let's identify what the actual job descriptions are. Like, what are the actual
Hmm.
roles? Let's forget about the people for a second.
Yeah.
What are the roles that you need for the business in order for you to be able to do these other things that are really important to you, that you're passionate about? Because that's the real cost of not structuring your business in a way that gives you the freedom that you want.
Hmm.
They're the things that you don't get to do, the impact that you don't get to make, right? The time that you don't get to spend with your family
Yeah.
or with your loved ones or the passions that you want to pursue, right? That's the real cost of structuring your business in a way that it creates a set of golden handcuffs or like this
Hmm.
ball and chain around your ankle.
Yeah. So thinking about the future, yeah, it can be hard because when you're working in the business, you may not be able to see the light. That what's happening now does not have to be and that things can be different. What would you
Yeah.
suggest to people who are kind of in that space of I'm doing everything myself and I don't know how to get out of this space? What might be some systems they need to build or a hire they need to make when they have the opportunity, first opportunity?
Yeah, well, if you're someone who, like, if you're more of a visionary type of person, you definitely need somebody who can execute for you.
Hmm.
Somebody who can, take an idea and run with it, and you don't have to hold their hand to do it, right? You can just say, "Look, I want to accomplish this by a certain date," and then they can come back and say, "Great, here's how we can do that. Here are the things that we need. Let's go do that."
Hmm.
And that's the way that I can operate with a lot of the business owners that I work with, is being able to close that gap between what your vision is and what are the pieces that you need in place to be able to close that. If you're somebody who is more of the technical, like you want to be sort of in the background, then you're going to need somebody who can go out and, shout it from the rooftops about the work that you do. Right. Just being good enough, like being good at what you do is not enough to have people decide to work with you. So you got to have
Mm.
somebody who can go out and just be your biggest like cheerleader, your advocate, be that business development person to bring somebody into the business so that you can shine. And then as far as like actual systems, like with my liberation lab, the thing that I work on, I have like the top 6 to 8 things that every business should have. So, you need an onboarding process
Mm.
for your clients and for employees if you have them. So, what does that look like?
Yeah.
You need a, customer acquisition, plan, uh, a way to get them into your CRM. So, what does your sales process look like from beginning to end? What
Mm.
happens before you get on the call? What happens when you get on the call? What happens after you get on the call? All that
Mhm.
needs to be mapped out. How are you going to follow up? Delivery of your product or service. What does that look like? It should look the same, relatively the same every single time.
Yeah.
Even if you're delivering something different, the process of how you
Mhm.
get there should be the same every time. Um, when it comes to networking and marketing, like you should have a process for all those things.
Mhm.
Whatever the most critical things that are required to be able to run your business,
Yeah.
like, those are the things that need to be documented, need to be, recorded, organized, and then refined over time.
Yeah. I love that. I love that because a lot of the things you just said are things that I tell people in
Mhm.
marketing. You need to have a system so that you can repeat your success or so that you can
Yeah.
analyze what's working and what's not working. So many
Yeah.
times
Yeah.
people will come to me and they'll say, "I've tried everything." Like what?
You tried one thing. You tried
You
exactly one
you
thing,
tried
and it
the
didn't
first
work
2
out.
steps of a 5-step
Yeah.
program and decided it didn't work. And they often don't
Yeah.
know, or people will, they'll go viral and say, "Yeah, like, I went viral and then it didn't happen again, and then I didn't get sales."
Mhm.
Okay, what about that video? Like, how
Right.
how did you go viral? Let's watch it and break it down. People don't have systems that they can replicate, and they also don't go back and look at the data. People are
Yeah.
posting every day, or they're making
Mhm.
100 calls a day, but you're not tracking, okay, how many people said yes? How many people said no? What was the
Right.
title of the person that you spoke to, right? You're not tracking the correct data to know, like, even if you have a success. So I like that plan and that structure, how you onboard people, how you deliver your
Mhm.
service, right? Having all of those things. A lot of these things nowadays can be automated, which is awesome
Mhm.
that, people can visit your website 24/7 and they can make a purchase, and email can go out automatically. 2 weeks later, someone can follow
Yeah.
up and say, write a review, and you don't have to do all of these things manually. So if you have a business out there, I would go back to what Ali said. Make sure you make those notes and get
Mhm.
those things implemented now as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Um, your business is called Wisdom and Wayfinder. What way are you
Yes.
helping people find?
Well, going back to the example of, like the business owner with the 2 kids, who have practice on opposite sides of town, right? Wisdom and Wayfinder really is about, we all have our own wisdom, but we can also borrow the wisdom of people who have been there.
Mm,
But we also have to find our own way. And so what
yeah.
that looks like is, if you're like, look, I love Alex Hormozy and Layla
Mhm,
Hormozy, probably some of the biggest names on social media. And when it comes to business, where a lot of people are going to go. They're probably going to go, to their acquisition systems and all of that. They're young, they don't have kids, and Alex is obsessive about success and business and all of that, right? His methods, whatever his morning routine, and you'll see the morning routines of a lot of these social media gurus,
mm,
that does not work for someone who's not in that exact situation.
right.
So you have to develop a system to filter and determine, okay, what can I take from these messages, from these things that are put out there, that's going to be valuable for me, and adapt it for the situation that I'm in. You know, I can't get up at 5 a.m. and put my face in a bowl of iced, Saratoga water. I'm not doing that. But I can get up and maybe do, 20 minutes of stretching and just movement
Yeah.
to kind of wake myself up, splash some water on my face, and then get to work. Right. You got to be able to find, and most importantly, you got to be able to find what you can do on your worst day. This was something I learned in one of my
Mm,
men's coaching groups. Is we were kind of helping to create like a morning routine for them, and we graded it from 4, which is like you absolutely killed it, absolutely nailed it. You showed up in like your highest, masculine energy, and then 1 was like you did nothing, you didn't move the needle, or anything like that. And so 2 is like, this is what you can do on your worst day. This is the day that, I don't know, maybe you got rejected from a job or from a date that you were really excited
mm,
about. You've got a stomach flu or whatever. You're feeling like your absolute worst. What can you get done on that day? And that's what
mm.
you set as your standard. A lot of people, kind of going back to my food example, the person I was when I bought the ingredients is not the person I am at the end of the night
Right,
when
five
it's time to
o'clock
make
Ali
those
is different.
ingredients. Exactly. Well, more like 8 o'clock, you know? But it's like, that's what you've got to build your systems around, is who are you when, you just don't have the energy? What can you still get accomplished?
Yeah, you've touched on this a lot in what we've been discussing, but I just want to
Mhm.
reiterate how important it is for you to really know yourself, right? to
Mhm.
know what you're good at, know what parts you can take. You even talked about, if you're a visionary leader versus a technical leader, right? Some leaders actually enjoy the execution process. They would not have it any other
Mhm.
way. But you do need all of these other things, right? Someone has to do it. It doesn't have to be you. And some people are like,
Yeah.
hey, this is what I want. You guys go ahead and figure out how to do it. If you don't know that about yourself, you could be spending a lot of time turning your wheels and burning your oil kind of in the wrong direction, and not really making progress or making the progress that you want to make. We talked a lot
Yeah,
about
and burning other people out too. Like if
and
you
burning
don't
other
know
people
yourself,
out.
that's
Hello.
yeah.
That's a thing too. I wasn't even thinking in that direction, but that's a thing too, in that you put a lot of pressure on other people, um, to either pick up your slack or figure out the direction that you're not giving, right? And then people spend their
Yes.
time on things, and then you're like, well, we're going in a different direction, or this is not what I want, or I wanted it done this way. Yeah, you burn other people
Mhm.
out as well. That's a really
Yeah, and
good
then you're
point.
like, "Why can't I keep anybody? Why doesn't anybody wanna work?" And it's like,
No
"No,
one
they
wants
just
to
don't wanna
work.
work for you, and they just don't wanna work for the low pay that you're giving them."
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
I was gonna say, we touched a lot on business, but you also have a Substack
Mhm.
where you talk about business, but you talk a lot about personal development and
Yeah.
relationships. What made you start writing on Substack?
I just, I needed a place. Again, going back to that self-expression, it's like, yeah, I write a ton of stuff in my journals. Like, if you think I'm open on Substack, what I write in my journals is even more like
Mm,
open than that. But I think there's a place where, um, a guy in one of the programs that I was in, his name is Deep. He said, "You are alone until you share,"
mm,
and it really like out of everything that that man has ever said, and he doesn't speak much, but that was one thing that always landed with me. It was like you are alone until you share, and I think we are as a society, as a global community, we are starved for opportunities to really connect with each other
mm,
and to not feel so alone.
yeah,
The amount of people that I have had come up to me afterwards, like they don't like anything, they don't comment anything, but they come up to me and they say to me, "What you said really resonated with me.
yeah,
I didn't realize that anybody else felt this way. Thank you for writing that." Like, or wow, I can't believe you really put it all out there like that. Like,
yeah,
and it's like, yeah, I am gonna put it out there like that because I know the cost and the consequence, or rather, I know what it cost me and the consequence of not speaking up, of not sharing, of not having um, people who had the capacity or the space to really hear and understand, what I was trying to communicate.
mm,
And so now having this platform to be able to do that, one gives me access to a lot more people who can hear and understand what I'm saying and resonate. Um, but it also gives permission for other people to be able to communicate and express for themselves.
yeah,
They don't have to do it in the way that I'm doing it,
yeah,
and I'm not requiring that from anybody, but if it helps somebody else be a little bit braver, a little bit more authentic, a little bit truer to who they are, then it's absolutely worth it.
yeah. Definitely. Is Substack oversaturated? Absolutely not, because your story is not there yet. I'm going to put the
Exactly.
link to your Substack as well as to your business in the show notes so that people can follow up with you.
Um, is there anything else that I want people to know? No, I think that's just treat yourself like you're somebody you love,
Mm,
you know? Um, show up for yourself in the ways that you can. Um, yeah, just keep going.
yeah, keep going. I love that. Well, thank
Just
you
keep
so
going.
much for being a part of the podcast. Listeners, you know what to do. We like to show our guests love, so they are going to follow you, stalk you all over the internet. I hope that you're ready.
Yep, I'm ready. I
All
hope
right.
that they're ready. 'Cause I don't hold back.
He does not. Okay. He does not. So you've been warned. All right. Thanks.